As many of you know, I'm a huge fan of rock music. Different genres, different eras, but one band that has always been one of my personal favorites is Linkin Park. I discovered Linkin Park early in high school while riding in the car with one of my classmates. They put in Hybrid Theory, I started hearing the opening to Paper Cut, and I was instantly hooked. Recently, Linkin Park has come back into the spotlight with a brand new lead singer, drummer, and new album that's coming out in November. This seems to have fans split right down the middle, but why? Well, I'm going to go over a brief history of what's been going on and also give my 2 cents on the situation. Now, before I go any further, note that I have done my own digging for research on this video, so if I happen to get anything incorrect, I apologize in advance. Also, if you happen to disagree with my opinion, that's okay. Just do it as a calm, rational, mature adult. And with that out of the way, let's get started. To get started, we need to rewind the clock back to July 20th, 2017. Chester Bennington, the then lead singer of Linkin Park, was found dead due to suicide by hanging. This was a massive blow to not just his family, friends, and fellow bandmates, but everyone around the world that was impacted by this man's incredible voice. The rest of Linkin Park's tour that year was canceled, and after that, nothing. Fast forward to late August of 2024. Rumors had been spreading that Linkin Park was coming back with a new lead singer in mind. Fans were excited, to say the least, if these rumors were going to come true. And then, during the last week of August, a mysterious countdown starting from 100 hours appeared on the band's YouTube page. After waiting for the countdown to reach 0, the clock glitched and was starting to count back up. Every time the countdown had to involve the numbers 9 and 5, the clock would glitch again. Something big was coming September 5th, and boy, it did. Members of the Linkin Park Underground had the chance to buy tickets to a special show that was happening in Los Angeles. After a 7-year hiatus, Linkin Park was back with a brand new vocalist, Emily Armstrong, from originally the band Dead Sarah. Also introduced was a new drummer to the band, Colin Brittain, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Along with the performance was the release of their new single, The Emptiness Machine, and the announcement of a 6-show world tour that kicked off on September 11th. It seemed like everything was going great, until the controversy started. Fans started digging for information about Emily to see who this singer for Linkin Park was, and what they found was not very pleasing. The most 2 notable being she is a 2nd-generation member of Scientology, which Scientology has very, very demeaning looks upon homosexuality, mental illness, sexual abuse, and etc., etc. Another part that fans found unsettling is that she was friends with Danny Masterson. She attended a criminal hearing trial and defended him in 2020 for allegations of rape, which later he was found guilty of. These statements about Emily came to light from people's research and a post from Cedric Bixler Zavala, a former Scientologist and lead singer of the band Mars Volta, and if I'm mispronouncing the name again, I apologize. The post was made on Dead Sarah's Instagram page and resurfaced shortly after the announcement of Emily becoming Linkin Park's new singer. Along with the allegations, many fans had felt that the band's founder, Mike Shinoda, was disrespecting the legacy of Chester, as if Mike was trying to replace him or sweep him under the rug. Many of the songs performed at the September 5th show and songs that will be played for the duration of the world tour are past songs that Chester sang and helped write. People felt it disrespectful for Emily to sing these songs that Chester had put his heart and soul into. Another point people made was where there were now 2 new members, and Brad, one of the guitarists, deciding to stay behind the scenes and not go on tour with the rest of the band. Why the band decided to keep the name Linkin Park rather than stating this was a new project and calling the band a different name. Chester's own son, James Bennington, called out Mike Shinoda on social media, stating, "You quietly erased my father's life and legacy in real time. With all this negativity, is there any light at the end of the tunnel?" Well, yes, I personally think so. So let's address things one at a time. First, let's address Emily's ties to Scientology. I don't know how much you know about this cult, but it can be very dangerous, especially for people trying to leave without abiding by their leaving process. Being second generation means she was born into it. People born into Scientology or other cults are often brainwashed from birth. And considering that she is openly gay, I don't think that she abides by Scientology's points of view. Plus, leaving Scientology means that anyone attached to you that is still in Scientology has to cut all ties with you. It doesn't matter if you're family, friends, a spouse, anyone has to sever any form of contact with you, and I don't think anyone wants to go through that. With that being said, though, Emily has never shown any true dedication to Scientology. According to BBC, Emily has never publicly commented on her relationship with the church, but several of her songs in Dead Sarah suggest criticism and rejection of Scientology's teachings. Along with that, her last known sighting at a Scientologist event was in 2013 alongside with then Scientologist Cedric Bixler Zavala. Now, about her ties with Danny Masterson, she has since put out a public statement on Instagram addressing the situation. In short, she states that she was defending a friend at the time, and once he was found guilty, cut all ties with him. She even goes on to say that she does not condone any form of abuse and or violence against women. People still point out that she follows Danny on Instagram, but let's be honest, when's the last time that you did a full cleanup of your friends on any sort of social media? So let's shift gears over to Mike Shinoda. Guys, as much as I love Chester and know how much of an impact he made on not just Linkin Park, but to millions upon millions of listeners out there, it wasn't just his band. Mike Shinoda was the founding member in 1996, back when the band was known as Zero. It wasn't until 1999 that Chester joined and started work on Hybrid Theory and changing the band's name to Linkin Park. Now, that's not to say Chester wasn't important, just that he wasn't the one that originally formed the band. It's important to remember that a band is not just one person. That's why Mike and the rest of the band wanted to continue their work as Linkin Park, as stated from Shinoda in a tweet in 2018, stating, "I have every intention on continuing with LP, and the guys feel the same. We have a lot of rebuilding to do and questions to answer, so it'll take time." During this time, Rob Burton, the original drummer of the band, decided that he wanted to distance himself from the band and did not participate in any of the band's future promotional materials or productions, which is understandable. People deal with grief differently, and perhaps Rob just couldn't see himself playing with them anymore. It wasn't until 2019 that the band met Emily for the first time and worked on some general ideas for about 3 days. At a later point, Dead Sarah even worked on some music in Mike's old studio. In 2021, Mike had also worked with Colin on a couple of music projects as well. However, these music projects weren't Linkin Park trying to make a comeback. This was just the band trying to write new music in general. In an interview with Billboard, Mike stated that he was really clear about not knowing, not calling it anything. That was me, Dave, and Joe agreed we would say, we were telling ourselves, we're not calling this Linkin Park because who knows? By 2023, though, the band approached Emily and Colin to join the band. It wasn't an instant yes either. Emily was still part of Dead Sarah and Colin was working on his own musical productions. However, it seems that the stars aligned and Linkin Park was back. This shows me that the band took their time to recover from Chester's death, thought about what all of the members wanted for the future, and waited for the right pieces to fit together instead of just rushing off and hiring someone new to instantly fill the spot of the vocalist that Chester had. Also, think of it this way. Many bands in the past have replaced members that have quit or unfortunately passed away. AC/DC got a new lead singer and still sang old songs. Slipknot has only one founding member of the band remaining and they're still known as Slipknot. And hell, even Lynyrd Skynyrd doesn't have any original members left in their band, yet they're still known as Lynyrd Skynyrd and perform old songs. So why should Linkin Park be treated any differently? I personally think it would be disrespectful to not perform the songs that Chester sang and wrote. This is also why during the September 5th show, Mike said this.
And in the role of Chester Bennington this afternoon is each of you.
They're not trying to replace Chester with Emily. They're keeping Chester's memory and legacy alive and well, while showing that Emily and Colin are helping work towards a new chapter of the band.
It is not about erasing the past, it is about starting this new chapter into the future and coming out here for each and every one of you.
Plus, I think it's safe to say that the rest of the band is on board going forward with this, rather than just Mike saying, yeah, the rest of the guys agree, and just letting it be at that.
But I also have permission for our fan base to form their own opinion. It's okay for them to land wherever they land on it. Obviously, I would speak for all of us, we want them to be in the journey where it's an open arms event where we're like, hell yeah, come on in, because we're having a great time and this is like an awesome place to be. But respectfully, like, I know it's a lot.
Like Phoenix said, if you don't like the new direction the band is going, then by all means, you have your right to do so. A lot of people stopped listening to Linkin Park when Menace to Midnight came out, or even later albums when they switched up their sounds. But that's what makes Linkin Park Linkin Park. They're not afraid to try new things, new sounds, experiment with different styles. That's why they kept the name Linkin Park. Now, this video wasn't made to convince you one way or the other. This was just me giving the facts that I dug up on my own and giving my 2 cents on the whole situation. Linkin Park has and is a huge part of my life, and I'm going to continue to support them. However, before I go, I do feel like the amount of hate aimed towards Emily and Linkin Park is way too much. If you enjoy the music, great. If you don't like the new music and stop listening, that's okay too. But just stop spreading so much hate.
And I'm going to keep these in. I'm going to keep these in until all this nonsense stops and we can start loving each other. We can stop hurting each other because we believe in something different than the person standing next to us. The one thing that can't be defeated is love, right? You can conquer hate by ignoring it. You can destroy it by loving the person next to you. So I want everybody here tonight to look at the person standing next to you and just tell them that you love them and you are happy that they're here with you tonight, having a good time, listening to music, celebrating life. We don't care what you look like. We don't care where you come from. We don't care what you believe in. We love every single one of you out there. And nothing will ever change that. With that said, let's sing some songs together.